meeting of the Greencastle School Board. We'll start off with, do we have any adjustments to the agenda?
Yep, I don't have any adjustments to the agenda this evening.
Okay, very good. All right, moving on to recognitions. Mr. Gibbon.
Yep, Mr. Roberts.
Well, good evening. I am here to recognize Christian Barnett. He's a kindergartner at Ridpath from Mrs. Harvey's classroom. And Christian has shown responsibility in multiple ways throughout each school day. He follows directions and goes above and beyond to make great choices in his classroom. He's an example to other students, reminding them of the expectations for different tasks. He helps pick up trash and helps clean around the room. He's responsible with his assignments and even brings extra practice from home back to school to show that he's working extra hard in his studies. Christian is such a great student, and we are lucky to have him at Ridpath. Congratulations, Christian.
Good job.
Good job, buddy.
Good job, Dad.
Yeah.
Good evening. This is Miss Reese Goodcaster, and I am so excited to celebrate her tonight. I've been watching her since she was an itty bitty little girl on the side of a baseball field. But I'm going to let her teacher talk about all of the great things. We're looking at responsibility this month, and Miss Reese definitely is a responsible young lady. Oh, yeah.
Well, I wrote something wonderful, but now I'm going to just come up with it as we go because Reese, you have done such a great job in the classroom. You are so responsible. Anytime that we need papers out, you have them out. You are helpful to all the other kiddos in the class too. If you know that somebody doesn't have something or it's not where it's supposed to be, I don't even have to ask or tell you anything. You go straight to putting it away, or you go over and help that kiddo and say, oh, I think you need this paper instead. So I love how responsible you are and how hard you work for me. And everybody in the classroom really appreciates it. I'm so proud of you.
Good job, Reese. Super good at exercising, too. Good job.
So our TZ responsibility student of the month is from Mrs. Evans' 5th grade class. This is Silas Lessner. So Silas, I'm going to read a little bit from Mrs. Evans. Couldn't be here tonight, so she sent some notes. Silas is a great student. He takes learning seriously and pushes himself to learn more. He takes responsibility for his own education. If he doesn't know how to do something, he uses his resources to figure it out. And I get to see this firsthand. We were getting onto our computers and trying to get everything reset after someone told us to shut them all down and turn them all back on again. And some things weren't working right as we thought they should. Silas was really instrumental in helping us figure out what was wrong with his. So I saw that responsibility firsthand. So we want to say congratulations and thanks for representing TZ.
Good job here in a few years.
So the high school student of the month, Marissa, is new to us. She came back to Greencastle from homeschool. She is involved with Mr. Hanson in the choir department, so her shyness kind of threw me for a little bit. Mr. Hanson said that Marissa is kind and well prepared for class each day. She's respectful to her teachers and her fellow students.
and she works through challenges with a good attitude. So we have Marissa Scheide.
Is that all? All right.
Our middle
He's at a soccer game, so I'm going to present it tomorrow at school.
Very good. Playing soccer in the rain. I like it. Outstanding. Thank you.
Juan Martinez.
Perfect.
Congratulations,
Thank
Juan.
you. Okay. Moving on to public comments. Looks like I have Olivia Willis. Hi, Olivia would like to address the board. If I just remind everyone who would like to address the board, just please be respectful to everyone. Keep your statements to 3 minutes and just be respectful of what you have to say. We want to hear what you got.
Okay, here's a quick question. I just want to know your plans on resource officers and when we can expect to see them up.
Okay. We are working hard on that. We're working in collaboration with the mayor's office and some discussions with that now. So, yeah, we have been for many years, and it's getting even harder now.
Yeah, back and forth.
Yeah, there's been a lot of conversations on it, so we're indeed looking at that stuff.
That makes me
And I'm still in the schools every day. So,
Yes,
Yep.
thank you.
yes, ma'am.
That's it.
Thank you. All right. Do we have anyone else? Hello, microphone. All right. I have nobody else on there. Okay. Am I missing anyone? All right. Very good. All right. We'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda, which consists of meeting minutes for the executive session, August 26, 2024, regular board meeting minutes for August 26, 2024, allowance of claims, financial report, personnel parts 1 and 2. Ms. Rowan.
Yes, hello. 2 months out of the year, we have months that have 3 payrolls. August was one of those months. So we're going to look at 3 payrolls tonight, and we're also going to look at 1 mini payroll. There was someone that was inadvertently left off the first payroll in August, so we did a mini payroll for them. That payroll was dated August 1st, total payroll of $2,571.85. And of course, it was a teacher, and they did get paid, and they got their retirement, and we've got payroll taxes on there. Total of $745.28. Good news, we caught it, and all was well. Then we had a regular payroll dated August 2nd, total payroll $425,575.22. And again, we always have the retirement and payroll taxes. It was $127,545.94. And then the second regular payroll for August was dated August 16th. Total payroll $435,924.99. And payroll and retirement was $124,655.33. And then the third and final payroll, regular payroll for August, was dated the 30th for a total payroll of $490,980.32. And then the payroll taxes and retirement on that payroll was $149,398.78. Did anyone have any questions about any of the payrolls? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to a list of prepays for August 2024. As you look through the list, did anyone have any questions about anything listed on the prepays?
I did not.
Nope. Okay. Well, then one thing I did want to point out on this, you'll see on to the second to the last page where your signature page would be, you'll see that there was a check that I had to issue to the state of Indiana for $82,765.11. I want to point this out. Just like we need to reconcile any deposits that are Greencastle schools, we also have to reconcile checks that we received that are not Greencastle schools, and that happened. We received $82,765.11, and I knew that wasn't ours because I reconcile our grants every single month, and I'm like, that's not ours. So I called them, and they're right. You're right. That is not yours. So we had to issue a check because we need to reconcile with our bank statement. So total prepays for August was $376.40.63. And then you've got a list of claims dated today, September 23rd. As you look through this quite lengthy list this month, did anyone have any questions about anything?
No.
No? Okay. If we go to the last page, then the signature page, total claims dated for today, September 23rd, 2024. is $455,040.55. And we'll move on to the fund report if you're ready. We've got the very first line for education fund balance at the end of August 2024 was $3,527,685.23. A couple lines down, you'll see Fund 300. That's the operations fund. Total in operations fund is $916,427.52. And then if we go ahead and head to the very last page, you're going to see the total in all funds is $9,438,586.99. And then next in our packet, we're going to have the bank to fund. It's basically a deposit to show that we're in balance with our bank. Our software is in balance with our actual bank statements. As you can see, we are, and as usual, that's a good thing. And then we've got some fund transfers, and again, I have to show on this report the transfers between banks. And once again, we did some transfers from Bank 2 to Bank 10, okay? And then also we have our regular education and ops transfer. So our total transfer for August was $1,181,262.50. And then finally in your packet, you're going to have the expenditures for bond 2021 and bond 2022. As you took a look at that list, did anyone have any questions on that? No? Okay. No questions? I'd like to submit for approval.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I get a motion?
Motion.
A motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion is approved. All right. Moving on to reports. Do I have the GCTA here today? Ah, right in front of me, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm Megan Ford, the vice president for GCTA. For short and sweet, we're gearing up for negotiations starting this month, and we're excited to work with you guys to come up with a contract. So we appreciate the support.
Thank you, Megan. All right. Moving on to the assistant superintendent, Mrs. McPherson.
Yes, just a couple of things to share. I want to share that we were awarded a grant through the Putnam County Community Foundation in the amount of $52,500. This grant is going to go toward our preschool expansion to hopefully add 2 additional classrooms. The funds from the grant we're going to use to not only furnish the classroom, but also purchase the Early Learning Matters curriculum, all the resources that go toward it, so that we can reach our goal where we can accept child care vouchers to ensure high quality early learning for more students in and around Greencastle. So very, very excited about that. Mrs. Cooper and I have a meeting at the end of the week to start all the planning processes on spending all of this money. And I really appreciate our partnership with the Community Foundation. And then I also want to share last week, our middle school JAG students and Mr. Brown participated in their initiation and installation ceremony. So this is a ceremony they have to do each year at the beginning of JAG to kind of show their partnership with it and their dedication to it. We had probably almost 100 family members show up to watch this ceremony. All but 3 students in the program showed up to participate. It was an amazing evening for our students and families. Mr. Brown had projects set up. He had his classroom open where the parents could go in and see all of the work the students are doing. And our high school JAG program, Mrs. Crosby, had some students down to help with this as well. So it was just a great joint effort from both the middle school and high school. And I'm just really excited about this program and what it's going to do for our kids. So that's all I wanted to share.
Very good. Sounds awesome. Thank you for your hard work on both of those matters. That's very awesome. Very cool. All right. Our superintendent report, Mr. Gibney.
Yep, I have a couple of updates, but during the first portion of it, I'm going to have Mrs. Goodpaster share an update on progress towards one of our goals in our strategic plan. So you'll be hearing from some of the different goals, chairs, in the different months moving forward.
Awesome.
So part of our strategic goal is number 1, it's expand and ensure access and participation to organized activities. So we've taken that on for the district to look at what do we offer our students as opportunities for them to get involved. Deer Meadow and Ridpath start at a very low level. Obviously, with kindergarten, first and second graders, they each have an activity that a kid can participate in. We then started looking at what do we offer at the other buildings, how can we continue what they do and expand on it by the time we get to high school. So TZ has 12 opportunities that students can get involved in. Middle school has 8. And then at the high school, we're fortunate enough that we have 55 activities that a student can get involved in. So our goal ultimately is to take and see correlation between student grades and activeness in these activities, seeing how our activities can also impact our community and finding needs within our community. Because we know if we have kids that are happy, they are willing and able to do anything within the school. We also know that if we have really good facilities, the kids are feeling very welcome and very active within their school. So we're pretty excited to go further into detail, but that's just a quick area that we've gotten into, and seeing how we can develop leaders and leads for our community. These students can then fall back into it.
Do you have numbers on how many you have in those programs of the kids that we have in of the 55? What's the numbers look like?
Right now we have per teacher, and we've also, that's a great question, because we've also broken it down to seeing how much we pay the individuals leading those activities, seeing how many students they have, how many times they meet, to see if that ratio matches and makes sense. We're also looking at seeing if some of our activities overlap. Does it mean that we maybe eliminate something and add something else to use our monies effectively? And then also seeing what programs develop big for students that can go towards some of our other goals, to look at maybe we need to reorganize some of our monies. So right now it's a number. I have a spreadsheet that will say each activity, how many kids are involved in that. But then we're drilling it down even more of student names. So seeing what students are in multiple levels, what students are in just an activity, and then at the high school we have figured out that we have 35 kids not involved in something. So we will, with those 35, find out why. There may be a reason why, and there may be also something that's lacking and that they wish their school had, and then we'll take that on.
That's great.
Only 35? Yeah, out of 511.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah, so when we look at activities for the high school, why we have 55, that's our sports, that is our academics, that is our community service, that is our academic as far as like AP or our JAG program or our ag program or our business program. So anything that's beyond just coming to school, we have put on that activity list. And then we have theater. So we have quite a few things.
That's great. So the 35 you're trying to nail down and get feedback from them?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah. I know one of the 35 is really interested in e-gaming, and Mr. Black is just met with some students and had a call out for that. So we're hoping that will pull that kid in. And I know another one said that he just works all the time, and that working is going to be important, and he doesn't know that he'll ever get to academics. So we'll figure out a way to bridge that gap with him too. But then there's still 32 of them. So we're using our PLC time to have our group that's doing the F list with our group that's doing the ECA lists, and cross-referencing, and with our other group that's mentoring kids and getting them mentors and figuring out where do they fit in.
Great.
Awesome. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then I just have a kind of a few updates with that, and it's on the top of my list. Since Mrs. Wells spoke about it earlier. I reached out to the sheriff's department. Can't remember if it was last week or a week ago, or it would have been prior to last week. I met with the mayor last Monday. So we're organizing to look at what exactly it will take, what steps, costs, just duties, responsibilities, the full package on bringing school resource officers to Greencastle. So we are working through that. That is something that I will bring before the board a recommendation in the upcoming months, so we can move forward with that. I also did want to touch on that, just on the piece of school safety. We did share this out in Parent Square with their families. The sheriff's office has arranged for a speaker, a guest speaker. Actually, we're hosting it for the county on digital empowerment. So just parents working with their kids, monitoring social media. That'll be on October 8th in Parker, in the hub. If we have a large turnout, we might have to move it to a larger location, but we are working in coordination with the sheriff's office and all of Putnam County on that endeavor.
Do you have a time for that?
What's that?
Do you have a time for that on October 8th?
I don't have it in front of me, but we shared that out with in Parent Square.
Okay.
And we have the flyer. I'm sorry, I don't remember that.
Evening, though, I assume.
What's that?
Is it evening or during the
It's in the evening. Yep, it's in the evening. I think it's like 5 or 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. So it'll be after athletics, after work. So it'll be a good opportunity for parents. October 1st is our ADM count day. Been monitoring our student count, our student numbers, and right now we're up significantly from last spring count, and we're also up from last fall, about 9 kids. So that's trending well, and that'll also be a nice piece during negotiations, because the more students we have, the more revenue that is sent our way. So that's very positive. I will share the final count with the board email. That's something I always do once we reach that date. Our new middle school furniture is going to arrive over fall break. They're going to do an install. So I know that we shared previously that if anybody knows of anyone that would like some of that equipment, we have some other external community organizations that could use some desks or tables. We gladly donate to those groups rather than dispose of them. Some of those items, I know that Mrs. Eldridge is working with Mrs. Clements, and we're going to not recycle, but move some of those items to TZ and to some other buildings. If there's a need, it makes sense to reuse them or repurpose them. But it was positive to hear that the new stuff is going to come over fall break, so we won't disrupt the school day. October 4th is going to be our first annual staff tailgate, so we want to have some fun fellowship with our entire staff and their families, and so we will have a tailgate here on the lawn outside of central office. We're working with Epic Insurance Midwest, John Farmley, our agent. If they're going to sponsor the meat and help cook burgers and dogs, we'll have some sides and some other things as well, but that is for our staff and their families, so kid friendly. So it'll be just a little bit of a nice evening and some fun before going over for the homecoming game and cheering on our Tiger Cubs. So we look to make that an annual tradition, just get everyone together. And then the last item, since we do have some newer board members, I just wanted to kind of share with you. I put a handout on your desk. So quarterly, I update some cash flows, just to kind of show you where we are with regards to our finances. At a later meeting, I'll go through it more in depth, but just kind of like to show you where we are with revenues and expenditures at this point in the year. Just simple little things. If you notice that they're under the months, there are 2 months that are highlighted in purple. Those are highlighted in purple because those are 3 payroll months. And we know that expenditures are usually larger during 3 payroll months. So we just had one. So like, for instance, if you're looking at that top page, the education fund, month-to-date expenditures, $1.58 million for August, whereas in July, they're 1.092. So you can kind of see it's roughly a third larger. Actual percent of appropriation. So if you take 100% divided by 12 months, your target should be roughly 8.3 or less. your appropriations each month, you can see we're at 66.3. So we're just under that. So it's a good thing. We're on trend with our spending. We're staying within budget, and things are trending positively for both the education fund and operations fund. Something new that I've added to these cash flow reports are, if you look down at the bottom for both of them, it says 20% reserve and 25% reserve. So one of our goals in our strategic plan is to have a cash balance in excess of 20 to 25% of our expenditures. So at this point in time, bear in mind that 20 and 25% will fluctuate, because what I've had to do is I've had to create an average monthly expenditure based on the first 8 months of the year. I multiply that by 12, and that gave me the annual expenditure list, and that's what that 20-25% is based off of. But this is something that we'll track, and we'll talk about in some of our board meetings in future dates. So I just wanted to share that with you. And that's all that I have for this month.
Okay. All right, I see we have no old business. New business, public hearing for the 2025 budget, CPF plan, and bus replacement plan. So we'll go ahead and open the public hearing for public comments for those items at this time. Have anyone that has any public comments? Hearing none, we'll close that meeting. All right, I have an approval request for secured school safety grant project.
Yeah, so Mrs. Goodpaster, I forget the exact title, is our corporation safety specialist, puts in for grant funding from the state each year. We sought out the maximum, so $100,000 maximum, in addition to $100,000 from Greencastle. So a $200,000 project would require $100,000 in funds from us, and we would get $100,000 in grant funding. But the state, their request exceeded the state appropriation and state budget by roughly $9 million. And so obviously they weren't able to fund at 100%. But we were awarded $80,868.38 from the state, and we have a project that we are seeking approval to move forward with Delaware Glass. It's a $199,675 project, and $80,868.38 would come from our grant funds, and the rest would come from Bond 2024 payments. And our focus has been continuing to replace our doors. And so this is a door replacement project for the east side of McAnally. So if you imagine, I don't know how many sets of doors there are. I think there's 6 double doors over there. It's a large project, but we'd like to go ahead and seek approval to move forward with that project, of which we're using some of our funds and some grant dollars as well, as we continue to work throughout the district to just improve safety and security.
Okay. Do we have any discussion on that? Any questions? All right. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. I have an approval request for required ADM counts for the purpose of state funding and verification of residency or membership.
Yeah, so this is something new, and actually you're going to start to see it. I think it's in July when we bring the teacher appreciation grant policy before the board. This is a policy that's already been approved by the board, but we have to annually reapprove it each year. And what this is, it just specifies the required documents families must submit to us for verification of residency. and this is a result of state law. And so, again, this is already approved policy. It's just something that has to be annually approved. And so, my recommendation for reapprove the policy as presented.
I didn't see anything changed from last year. Same thing.
Same exact thing.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, I have an approval request for Indiana Youth Tobacco Survey for the IHOD at Greencastle High School.
Yep. So also, a result of state law before we can move forward with surveys of students. These have to be board approved, and obviously there's information sharing with families and parents, and obviously an opt out. And the high school, this will be administered at the high school, and it would be my recommendation for the board approve our ability to move forward with the Indiana Youth Tobacco Survey.
That's the Department of Health that does that? Is that right?
Indiana Department of Health.
Okay. I didn't recognize the IHOD.
I think it's transposed. Yeah, because it's IDOH down below.
All
We
right.
love acronyms, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a new acronym.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right. The next thing is I was contacted by, Putnam County Health Department, and so they have a countywide initiative, and this is a memorandum of understanding to where for some very specific needs for individual students, they would like to make some funds available for Greencastle School District, roughly $2,000 per school, $1,000 in the fall, $1,000 in the spring. So that way, if we have a student that, for instance, needs a new pair of shoes for PE class, or needs help with an article of clothing, that we have a very specific purchasing process and procedure to where we can go and purchase those things, and with the parents' permission, give those to that student or that family. So it's an additional support. It's similar to what we do with some of our McKinney-Vento funds. But by having an additional pot of money, we're able to spread it a little bit further. And so it's a nice partnership with the health department to where we can just make sure all of our kids are taken care of for all the basic needs and necessities. And there shouldn't ever be a time to where they can't participate in an activity because they don't have what they need. So it's just a really nice thing. So in order to be able to accept those funds, we need the board to approve the memorandum of understanding.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
The motion and a second. Any discussion? Nice. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry. All right, I have an approval request for leased employee agreement between Putnam County Hospital and GCSC.
Yep. So we've obviously been working with Putnam County Hospital on telehealth and some assistance with our school nursing program, and this just extends all of that. They're helping to share with some of the additional cost, and so this will formalize our agreement with them, to where essentially each of our nurses will be leased employees from the hospital. We have our new nurse coordinator, Kathy Chris. She replaced Fawn. She oversees the Ridpath Clinic. That also covers each of our other school clinics. And at the same time, we had a few clinics within the district that didn't have a 37.5-hour a week employee. And so now we've been able to extend those hours, and it just makes it much easier to have a medical professional in those clinics for the entire school day. Some of our kids just have a lot of very specific needs.
This contract says, term first day of August through of 2024 is the first day, or
It'll be,
20
yeah, it'll go retro back because we've had some of their, we already have a few of their staff members, that have been working, for us and working for us previously. So essentially we'll back up to the start of the school year.
but it also says it ends in May of 2024.
Correct. It ends at the end of the school year.
Yeah, but that's 2025, not 2024.
Okay. Well, that will be a technical correction. This came from the hospital. So we'll update the date with them on that. But essentially it's for the school year, and then
Gotcha.
provided everything continues to go well, we look to continue to renew it.
It's 6.1.
What page was that on? So I can,
It's 6.1 and
thank you.
Page 4.
Got it. Yep. 21st of May. Yep. We don't want it to expire before it begins.
No.
So we will make that the last day of school. Yep, or the last staff day of school, because there are some days to where they prepare the clinics for the fall.
but how's that impact with kids over the summer? Is there any impact?
We've never had the
Yeah,
nurses
plus-
over the summer.
Gotcha.
Continues with the same number of days that we've had in the past.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Good catch. I didn't see that. All right, we have an approval request for the 2024-25 ProCare Therapy contract for SLP services.
Yep, so this is a recommendation from Mrs. Sullivan. This is a service that we need to provide to our students. Obviously, a lot of these individuals are hard to find, and so we found one, and we'd like to be able to move forward in providing those services to our families. And so, request that the board approve this agreement as presented.
Any discussion?
Is this in person or remote? The remote one. That's the one.
We have an SLP aid, so we
Gotcha.
will have an in-person person as well. Correct for this one?
No, that's for the middle school and high school. It's just everybody.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? The motion will carry. All right, I have an approval request for athletic corporate sponsors. Looks like we have Putnam Seed Service LLC for $750. Pretty straightforward there. Can I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
All right. All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will carry. Thank you very much. All right, we have an approval request for, looks like 4 different donations. Greencastle Middle School PTO to Greencastle Middle School for $2,075. We have Mary Allison Children's Home Trust to Deer Meadow Primary for $550. Bethel Baptist Church to Deer Meadow Primary for $500, and Putnam County Community Foundation to Greencastle School Corporation for $52,500.
I move to accept.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion will carry. Thank you very much. Do we have any other business? No? No? All right. Hearing none, we will move to adjourn. I have a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion in 2 seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. Have a good night. Stay dry.
We did stop.